Um, and my goal is to hit, call 50 people.
Mm.
Uh,
Wow. So
yeah,
you 1 hour a day, and is that 50 dials or 50 conversations?
50 dials.
50 dials. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And are you tracking how many conversations you're having out of that and stuff? So you know more or less how many people you'll get on the phone in an hour?
Um, I think yesterday I got like about 5 or 6.
And
One
yeah,
of them, yeah, one of
sounds
them
about right.
was a real estate broker. So,
You're gonna run into that all the time. I mean, like one out of every 150 people or so has like a real estate license.
yeah, yeah,
Typically, yeah. And then out of those people that have licenses, not everybody's created equally for sure. So not
right.
everybody's good. And I say that to say that there was a couple people I've listed that were for sale by owners in my career that had real estate licenses. A couple of people that had real estate licenses. But why don't we? I don't know, Ian. If you want to, do you want to try that? Do you want to kind of workshop that conversation you're having and see if um, we can kind of learn anything from you or offer you any feedback? Or
Yeah,
you just kind of want to listen in? You want to give it a shot?
yeah.
Awesome. So I know you're new, and it's always good to practice these things. And I don't know if anybody wants to be on the receiving end of that. Ian's going to call you. You're high, you have a lot of equity in your property and you're an absentee owner.
Hmm.
So does anybody want to be that? Does anybody want to be that homeowner? Nobody. Okay. Well, I guess that by default, that means it's me, and
I'll
I'm
do
pretty
it.
easy. That's,
Okay.
that's why I hate to do these things. Oh, James, you're going to take it?
Sure. I'll take it.
All right, James. So you understand the scenario here. So you're not on the market. You actually own a property here, and you own a property in Connecticut, and you're an absentee. You're an absentee owner, right? So you own this property. It's got equity in it. It's a good value, and Ian's just kind of going to give you a call, and that's who he's actually been calling, and he's a new agent. So we don't know. Well, we want to learn a little bit from Ian today, and also see what we can do in terms of feedback. Maybe we can offer Ian some suggestions to take his conversation to the next level. Cool. Everybody good?
Sounds good.
Good.
All right. So Ian, whenever you're ready, you're going to ring up James. Okay, go ahead, bud.
All right. Ring, ring.
Hello. Who is it?
Hello, hi. My name is Ian Linton with eXp Realty, and I was calling to see if you're interested in selling your home. I see that you have you're an absentee owner and that you have a lot of equity. Is that something that you'd be interested in?
How did you get my number?
Well, I got it online. Um,
Online.
we have a system where we can find numbers, and so that's how I got your number.
What system? Can you try to like get to what you're asking me, because I don't have a lot of time.
Yes. So I'm a real estate agent, and I just wanted to see if you're interested in in listing your home. I mean, the hot market is hot right now, and it's a great time to sell your home. What do you
Okay,
think?
I don't really care that the market is hot. Can you tell me? Okay, can you tell me how you're gonna market my property?
Sure. I'd love to do that with you, but I'd like to kind of if you can set out a time where I can better explain how I'm going to do that. I'd like to set up an appointment. Is that something you'd be
Okay.
open to?
Okay, sounds good. How are we gonna set up the appointment? Are we gonna meet in person or on Zoom?
Yeah. We can either meet in person at a central place, like either at your house, or we can meet at Starbucks or something like that.
Okay, yeah, I'll choose Starbucks. Since I don't know who I'm talking to. So
Got it.
so yeah, so when would that be?
How about this Friday? Does this Friday work for you?
Sure, Friday does work for me, but I have a lot of agents call me, so I just want to make sure that I'm not wasting my time when I come to you and you have something like set up, because I'm also interviewing other agents. So let's see how it goes.
Okay. So how does 1 o'clock Friday sound?
Sounds good.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. I'll see you then.
Okay, see you then.
Okay, that was a fun conversation. It's kind of like, hey, he's like, I don't care what the market's doing, but what could you do if you're going to sell my house? So James went from like not being, you didn't know that he was interested in selling, and all of a sudden he kind of like let the cat out of the bag that he might be considering making a move, selling it, right? So
Right.
how'd you feel with that, James? On the receiving end of that, how'd you receive Ian?
So like starting out, because I'm pretty much pretending just like when I call someone how they would react. So
Sure.
I try to be on the opposite end, like exactly how they act or communicate. So so that's like one of the reasons. Like just being literally cold, but essentially like the conversation when because I could tell that he was getting nervous when I was pushing back, like just in his tone. But afterwards the conversation got like a lot lighter, but with more experience. Like I have the same issue as well, but with more experience, like by just practicing,
Sure.
I think we'll definitely get better.
And that's why we do these things,
It's really
right?
tough. Yeah.
We're getting experience. We're practicing with each other, with other professionals, other people that are doing it. You guys are running into the same problems, right? The same kinds of people, and that's good. Thanks for that, James. Ian, how'd you feel? How'd you feel making that call? Is that sort of how? I mean, that was a good call because you ended up with an appointment. Is that more or less how the calls are going for you, Ian? I mean, it's
Yeah, pretty much for the most part. Yeah, but I pretty much got like I'm not interested at the moment, and you know, or I got one where one guy says, "I plan on dying in my house. I don't know." Plan on.
Yeah, those are fun people, right? Yeah, and that's cool. And that's cool. And you know, and that's look, and a no or not right now or not interested, or I'm dying in my house, that doesn't mean we're not going to follow up with them. And I'm going to speak on that in a little bit. I just want to hear if there's any other feedback from anybody that's on a call that has some feedback for Ian. That's you know, kudos, tip our hats to you, man. New agent calling absentee landlords, man. That's a great undertaking. Just want to say that. So does anybody else have any other feedback?
I do. So when the call was started, I heard that your first question is, are you interested in selling? And me and my personality, I'm going to be like, who are you? Get off the phone with me. Have a nice I think like a less, you know, like, how are you doing this morning? A different way to get a rapport going is a good way to start a conversation.
Okay.
Right. So I have a quick question for you, Kelly. Say, for example, how would you normally go about calling someone? Do you not follow the script by Ricky Carruth, or are you just pretty much do it of the person, or you just played by just your personality?
So Chris has some scripts that I kind of have in front of me as a guideline, but I look at the conversation that I have with anybody on the phone as a relationship builder. I'm not looking at the minute that I go that for me, the minute that I feel like I'm looking to gain something from somebody, I'm afraid that I'm going to get resistance. I have to come from a place to, I want to help. What can I do to help you? How do I get to know you? And that's how the relationship building starts. And that's where these conversations have moved forward for me.
Yeah. Right. So, you know, and we always talk about, Amy, you raised the virtual hand.
Yeah, sorry, I'm putting my makeup on. I'm getting ready for an appointment at 9:30. What I was going to say was, hi, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
There's a lot of, sorry, I'm coughing on a piece of egg here. The only thing I would say is really practice, because I keep hearing a lot of, and that makes you sound not confident and sure of yourself. And it's going to make me, as the receiver of the call, a little wary. So just keep practicing the fluidity and the role playing, like role play it in the mirror. I practice literally like for 20 minutes a day. So I stopped saying,
Right.
Exactly. Well, what we're doing here on Wednesday mornings for 30 minutes, I always encourage you guys, do it every day. Team up with different people. I mean, there's all these people on this call. You could talk to a different person every day in the morning before you hit the phones and practice these things, right? But that's great feedback, Amy. And listen, it's all about knowing where the conversation is going to go. And if you're controlling the conversation, there's only certain directions that they go all the time. And with regards to scripts, like what James is talking about, having the scripts, it's so good to know them. And I'd rather look at things like conversation models, right? We want to be able to ask great questions, have an agenda, know what we're calling for, right? So for example, Ian, so Kelly said you called and, hey, are you interested in selling your house, right? So ultimately that's a question that you're gonna pose to them. My approach when I'm calling somebody that did not ask to be called, right? So if it's not a FSBO or an expired, to me, those people are asking to be called. If it's just somebody, an absentee owner, I might just give them a call with a market value update, right? So, hey, just curious to know if you know what's happening with the market over here and in your neighborhood. Are you aware what's happening with the market? No, well, I've got some interesting news for you, right? So median sale price is up 8.5%. And, there's a backlog of buyers. And I'm finding that a lot of people in your position actually are looking to cash in on their absentee property, on their investment property or whatever, right? And two, particularly up north, right? You're in Connecticut. I used to love to call absentee landlords when we had a big snowstorm. So when we had a snowstorm and the office was closed and everybody was at home, oh, we can't work today. I was calling absentee owners because guess what? They're looking for people to shovel their properties and stuff that are that just got pounded with snow and things like that. But that's a great thing. And now, so you just call and offer them the information. And then sometimes whenever you see an opportunity for an appointment, I love it. You said, okay, great. And I think that might've been what threw you off, Ian, is that James was like, wait, what can you do to sell my property? Which is an awesome way to transition into that. Oh man, I'd love to show you more about that. I know you're busy now. I caught you off guard. When's a good time? I could put together a full report for you. We'll get together. We'll go into the details of what your property's worth. And if you're interested in selling at that point, I'll show you what we can do to get you top dollar, right? Transition to the appointment. And it was good that you avoided that conversation though on the phone, because it's always better to do your research up front, see if you even want to work with this person, and then get that appointment for later. Remember, guys, we're looking for a yes of some kind. So, he called us, hey, are you looking to sell your house? No, that's a no. Well, where do we go from there? And then he was like, wait a second. What could you do if I did want to sell? Awesome. So now we're looking for a yes for the appointment. I'd love to talk to you more about that. Here's my process. I know we don't have a lot of time right now. I'll do a detailed market analysis of your property. I'll put everything together. We'll get together. I'll go over the details with that, and I'll show you what we can do if you're interested in selling. And we're talking about the follow-up, right, Ian? Because you're getting a lot of people that are, oh no, I'm going to die in my house. I'm not interested right now. Have a follow-up offer. Say, well, from time to time, I know that, homeowners like yourself appreciate being kept up to date with the market. So if you want, I could send you a market update once a month to let you know what's happening in a neighborhood. How's that sound? Would you find something like that valuable? And just get them, oh yeah, that sounds good. Great. What's your email? Now you're building your database. Now you have somebody, you didn't waste a call. They said, no, I'm not interested in selling, or I'm going to die in my house. But now they're getting an email from you about the market value, the market updates, which you can easily do with your MLS system or RPR, right? So I love that. So Ian, call with something, call with an item of value, right? With some news for them that you could segue into the transition. Maybe they're interested in selling. Always be ready if they are curious at all to set that appointment to go over the details. And the third thing, have a follow-up offer, have a reason. Get them to say yes to getting more information from you in the future, right? And you'll be able to maximize your calls that way, right? That way we're not planting seeds without going back there to water them. So that was awesome. You guys did great. I love it. So any other questions or anything around that? And then we'll move on to another role play call. So if you guys have a particular scenario you'd like to practice or workshop or hear, we got Amy with a raised hand, a virtual raised hand. What's up, Amy?
So I have a newer objection that I kind of wanted to practice. I was hoping someone else could volunteer to practice while I listen in, only because again, I'm getting ready literally for an appointment. I have to leave in 15 minutes and I'm trying to get myself put together and I want to concentrate.
Okay.
So I'm getting the Well, it's not a good time to list in the holidays objection. And I kind of want to like flush out a good response on that and
Yeah.
basically like talk to a homeowner and tell them when there's, lower inventory and you're the only ones on the market, it's easier and you'll have a better time maybe downsizing at that point. So those are the two big objections I'm getting right now is,
Mm.
well, it's the holidays coming up. No one really is buying.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get that one. And then the other one was, well, where would I go?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So those are two different things, right? And that both of those, you got to get people to think differently. So the where would I go one, that's somebody that hasn't even started thinking about selling. That's just like somebody, well, I guess it might be worth it, but where did I go? And for that, I just transitioned to a conversation all about, I don't know, where would you go? Right? If you could live
Right.
anywhere, if you could do anything, if you did, where would you go? If nothing else mattered, but you get to live where you want to live and you could afford it, where would that be? And you kind of get them thinking of using their imagination, and that's what gets them excited. Oh, well, I'd move here, I'd do this, blah, blah, blah. And well, it's, would you stay local or do you need to transition your job? Like, what's the deal? And then once they start thinking about that, the next conversation to where would I go was like, okay, let's get together and do a market analysis to actually see what you stand to net. And then now we have what you're looking for. And now we can start playing with numbers, actual, tangible, monetary amount. But let's do this one. For somebody that says, I don't want to sell during the holidays, right? Does anybody want to be that? I can be that agent if somebody wants to be the seller of somebody that doesn't want to sell during the holidays. And I just want to let you guys know, with this kind of process, to get somebody to think in a different direction, we have to ask them questions so that they can come up with their own solutions, because they won't say no to their own ideas. So I just want you to pay attention to the process I use. And sometimes it sounds like I'm talking in circles, to ask questions, right, to get people to think differently. So who wants to be that seller? Or the non-seller that doesn't want to sell during the holidays?
I can be a non-seller.
All right, so Kelly, I'm going to call you, and you are, you want to wait till after the holidays to put your house in the market, I guess, because you have all these things up in your head that are saying it's, it's not a good time or whatever like that. Okay. We'll give you a call. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, Kelly. It's Chris, your favorite real estate agent. How are you?
I don't have a favorite real estate agent. How'd you get my
I
number?
know. I figured you didn't, so I figured I'd apply for the job right up front, because most people don't. Believe me, I work with a lot of realtors. Rarely do I run into a favorite, but I will tell you that you'll really enjoy working with me. So I don't know if you remember, we actually spoke a few months ago. I think you listed the house by owner, and I don't know what happened. Did you ever sell that property? What went on?
No, I pulled it off the market.
Okay, and what are you thinking? I mean, what changed in your life that caused you to take it off the market?
I have a couple of things that I have to do to the house to get it ready, and the holidays are coming up. It's just not a good time.
Okay. Well, I saw that you were asking $699. I mean, would that still be your number of putting it back on the market after the holidays?
No, the market continues to go up. I have to be near 700 by now.
Okay. So the market's going up. So you're anticipating that the market will be going up, and that'll be worth even more after the holidays.
Yes.
Cool. And I'm just curious, do you think that maybe there's some other homeowners that have the same plan as you, to plan on putting their house on the market, maybe in January? I mean, I'm in the business. I always see a surge in inventory, when the new year passes. Do you think that might happen?
Someone else does. I have the best house. I mean, my house is perfect. Everything is into a T. The floors are perfect. We have exotic granite in the kitchen. Nothing would compare to my house. Not once these are finished and the holidays are over. So I don't care what anyone else does.
Yeah, I love that. So if, what we're finding is, do you think some people actually buyers, maybe the buyers that do come to look during the holidays, do you think that they're just, tire kicking, or you think they might be actually serious buyers that have to make a move, that are willing to pay top dollar, and maybe they're trying to get in before the end of the year for tax benefits?
More stuff to do on the house. It's not a good time right now.
So if you could sell it now, if you could sell it now and get what you were looking for, would it make sense for you to not even spend the money on doing the things that you need to do on a house?
It's just not a good time. The holidays are coming up. There's things that I have to do. There's Christmas presents all over the house. The family's coming into town.
So what's the time frame look like for you to put the property on the market?
Well, once I finish these last couple of things and, the family leaves the first week in January, that could be a conversation that I'm going to have. But I'm going to expect to get absolute top dollar at that point.
Well, what you'll the idea is for you to get top dollar of whatever market you're selling in. So like right now, we know what top dollar would be. We don't know what top dollar is going to be in January, but I mean, here's what I'd be happy to do. I'd be happy to keep you informed about the market. I mean, we're right there. So would it make sense for me to let you know what's happening with the market weekly? And here's what I would let you know. Any new sales, any new listings, and maybe anything that came off the market. I mean, would that make sense for me to just touch base with you weekly, keep you informed about what's really happening with the market out there?
I mean, I do have Zillow, like they do show me everything on there.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the Zestimate for your house in particular, you tell me how beautiful it is. Does it make sense? Is that number pretty accurate?
It has it in the mid sixes, so no. But I can what's sold in the neighborhood and what's online and what's coming. I don't really need anything from you.
Well, Kelly, what's happening is that Zillow is a third-party aggregate, and they actually get their data from multiple listing services like the ones that we're on from around the country, right? So when we enter data as professionals, it's in real time. So an update that I might put in there today is not going to be readily available on Zillow for another week or so. I mean, have you ever had that experience where there was something inaccurate or maybe even called to buy a house and it was already sold? And I mean, are you hearing any of these horror stories? I mean, did you see the news? I don't know if you realize that Zillow is actually pulling their iBuyer program because they can't accurately determine values of properties for it to make sense. Right. So hey, what I'm offering you is for a non-computer, non-robot to actually tell you what is really happening in your neighborhood. Someone that's got the eyes on the market of the neighborhood on a daily basis, rather than for you to go to a robot that's really got an algorithm program that's cast across the whole country. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, you seem like a smart person. I mean, would a smart person really be the type of person to rely on Zillow?
I guess you can stay in touch with me.
Look, it's once a week. I'll just let you know what's happening with the market because I want you to be informed. And don't worry, January, December, November, whenever you sell, for sure, I'll be able to get you top dollar, right? So I'll also, I mean, we see on average that the MLS is selling houses for 97.6% of asking price. My average is 99.8% of asking price. So for sure, I'm right up there. So excellent. I just want to confirm your email address. We have kellythehardseller@gmail.com.
It's kellytheasshole@gmail.com.
All right, cool. I guess let me update that email address for you. And listen, I'll keep in touch. I'll send you those reports. And if you have any questions, I know you're an intelligent woman. If you have any questions looking at that stuff, you need help interpreting it, just feel free to let me know. I'd be happy to spin some perspective on it. Okay.
You got it.
All right. Bye. Yeah. So she wants to do work on a house. She doesn't want to put it on the market during the holidays. She has in her head. The fact of the matter is that there is less inventory during the holidays. The people that come out, I'm in the business. I sold my house on December 22nd. I put it on the market December 10th. And I sold it for well over asking price. And then the pandemic hit. It didn't close till July, but that's what happens. But so we want to ask people questions now. If they give you as much resistance as Kelly was giving me, she was not getting curious at all about what that might look like. She just knows I'm going to have the best house. I'm going to sell it for the most amount of money. So I just wanted to plant. My next step was I just wanted to plant that seed of doubt in her brain that, hey, look, we might not. We're anticipating it to go up. You might spend money on renovating your house, and then the market might go down. That's just might what happen. I mean, especially. Things with the market get crazy after New Year. And guys, in January, do we see a surge of listing inventory? We see a surge of listing inventory. We see a surge of buyer activity. Meanwhile, there are certain buyers that want to get into something and close by the end of the year. They might be relocating. They might be being pushed or for tax purposes, things like that. So that's the carrot I'm going to dangle to Kelly. Like, so when I start to send her these market reports over the next couple of weeks, she might have a question. She might raise her hand about something, or I might see something and say, hey, Kelly, I don't know if you noticed a house just like yours dropped their price. What do you think's going on there? Right. So, those are things that you want to keep that conversation open. Did you guys have any questions or comments or anything? I know Kelly wanted to hang up on me so bad. She doesn't want to hang up on me.
I think an objection, like a way that I would have handled one of my objections is I want to get the house ready for after the holidays. great, why don't you let me come by
Hmm.
and I can show you which parts of the house will give you the best bang for your buck.
Awesome. And that's another toolkit in your FSBO toolkit, right? So, and like I might have said, well, awesome. Are you aware of the return that you get based on the renovations that you do? And I actually have a document that shows that. I'd be happy to shoot you over my ebook, or, you know, that gives you an idea on which, you know, what renovations give you the biggest bang for your buck. That was, if we isolated it down to that being the only thing. But I think the bigger thing here, because again, with objections, guys, you want to isolate them. So you want to deal with one thing at a time, right? So it's like knocking over dominoes. When we don't line them up next to each other and knock over each one, we put them in front of each other and you hit one and it goes. So with objections, we don't want to go so deep, and we don't want to go so deep into it until we have one, until we've isolated that thing, right? Because with Kelly's situation, if I was like, hey, if it didn't make sense for you to renovate your property or do that work, if you weren't actually going to get the return on it, would you then consider selling now? Well, I wouldn't, because it's still the holidays, right? Or maybe she would, right? And that's why I was like, well, what's your number now? If you can get that number now without spending any money, would you sell it? Would you make that move, right? So, and ultimately, you don't want them to feel like you're just after the listing or after the sale. You want them to feel like and understand that you're actually consulting them to help them arrive on the best decision that's, you know, what's best for them. And you know what? Sometimes it might not be best for them, and you have to know when that is, right? You have to help them self-discover that. So, but yeah, there's all these ways to handle these objections. And remember, isolate, get them down to one thing and say, is there anything else? Is there anything else? Is there anything else? So, right, you know, and by asking questions, you're going to allow them to, come up with their own ideas, you know? Anything else, guys? Any other questions? Good deal. So Amy, hope that was helpful. Shoot me text, reach out if you need any other help with the other things. And I know the other objection that you had, Amy, which is where would I go? That's a fun one for me, because then we get to talk about dreams. And I don't know, where would you go? Would you be in Fiji? Would you live in a hut? Or, you know, would you be in a high-rise condo in Miami? Who knows? Let's talk about this. And then once they get excited about that idea, then it becomes real. And then we talk about the numbers of it. So what would you be able to buy? Which is it's an incredible conversation to have. So thank you guys for popping on today. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Enjoy the rest of the week. Have high-level conversations, practice with each other, ask great questions. And remember, always look for the yes of some kind, you know, yes to the appointment. Yes, you can follow up with me. Yes, here's my email. Yes, send me that. Yes, I want to talk again, right? It's just the little tiny victories, and then celebrate those things, right? So go ahead, go make some calls today, talk to people, and get a yes, and treat yourself to a taco. Little victories, little rewards, right? Anything else, guys?